Hello friends, welcome to Java 8 interview questions, and in this video we'll talk about lambda expression. Alright, so let's begin the video. Now the very first question is, what is lambda expression? As you guys know that Java is object oriented programming language, but lambda expression is the first step towards functional programming. So what is functional programming? That we'll see in one of the videos. Alright, now let's have a look at the definition of lambda expression. So lambda expression is an anonymous function. Anonymous in the sense, anonymous means a function without name, without return type, and without access modifier. Alright. Lambda expression does not belong to any class. What does it mean? So what I will do is, let's have a look at this particular example. I have a class here test, and there is one function called void. Here is my main method. What I'm doing is, I'm creating the object of test class and I'm creating hello function, right? So what does it mean? It means that this particular method, hello method, belongs to test class, right? That's why I'm able to access the method by using the object of test class like this, right? But this is not the case with the lambda expression. Lambda expression does not belong to any. Lambda expression provides a clear and concise way to write code. That again I will explain in the code itself. We use lambda x. This is one of the very important point. We use lambda expression to provide implementation to the method of a functional interface. So either you can create your own functional interface or you can have built-in or predefined functional interface. So I hope you guys know functional interface is an interface having single abstract method SAM, right? So we use lambda expression to provide implementation to the method of a functional interface, right? Or in other words, functional interface provides reference to the lambda expression. So I will explain these two topics as part of the coding section. All right. But before that, let's have a look at the syntax of lambda expression. So this is the syntax of lambda expression. You have the bracket where you pass all your parameters, because lambda expression, what is? It is an anonymous function. So like the way we pass parameters to the normal function, we can pass arguments to lambda expression as well. So there could be a function without arguments. There could be a method with multiple arguments, right? So you pass your parameters inside this particular bracket, and then this arrow sign, it indicates that I'm going to write the method body, function body, and then you write your function body. So this is the syntax, but we'll see more in the code. So what I will do, I will explain these points. Let's go to the IDE. I will create a class here called lambda expression, right? Lambda exp. All right. Now what I will do, I will create an interface here. So I'm creating an interface, ter interface, and I'll call it as, let me call it as learning lambda expression, right? This is my interface, and I have a function, an abstract method here called learn. Very simple, right? Now if you guys remember, an interface having only one abstract method is known as what? Functional interface, right? So I have lambda expression, there is only one. So this is my interface, and there is one method called learn, right? So what do I do now? If I have to use this learn method, so I need to implement the interface. Implements learning lambda expression is my interface, and I'm going to provide the implementation. So what I will do here, I will simply write a sysout System.out.println. I will write here what? Learning lambda expression, right? Simple. Now how can I use? I will create the object of this particular class, and then I will use object to call the function. Simple, right? Sorry, new. Now if I run this one, I hope you guys can guess the output. learning lambda expression, right? So this is the regular way, the way we work. There is no lambda expression involved yet. Now let's go back and let me just copy this one. So I'll go back to the definition here. Let me open a notepad here and let me take this out. So this is my regular function, void learn, right? Now how can I create or how can I write a lambda expression out of this one? So what is lambda expression? Lambda expression is an anonymous function, a function without name. So no need to have the name. What else? Without return type, removed. What else? Without access modifier, removed, right? But as per the syntax, if you go here, right, you need to have the arrow indicator here. So it means now this is my function body, correct? So this is what do you call a lambda expression. But here you see there is no argument because there could be a method without argument, right? So there is no argument. Arrow indicator means I am writing a lambda expression and this is my function body or implementation of my test method. So if I go here, right, so what you see here is the lambda expression of this particular learn method, right? Now I can make it small, like I can make it more shorter like this. I can take everything in one row. Okay, so this is one liner implementation of this particular function. Cool, right? Okay, so now you know how to create a lambda expression. You just need to remove the function name, modifier, and the return type from your regular function, and you need to add the arrow sign, correct? What is next? It says that functional interface provide reference to the lambda expression, or we use lambda expression to provide implementation to the method of a functional interface. So let's go to the IDE. Now what I will do is, I hope you have understood this particular example, so I will just take out everything from here, or let me just keep this one as it is. I will comment this for your reference. So this is my class and I have main method, right? Now I need to write the lambda expression, right? So I will copy the lambda expression, or let me just to copy this particular method. Let's do it again. Let's create the lambda expression out of this particular method. So you need to take out what? Function name, what else? Return type, and then the access modifier, correct? But there is something missing. What is missing? Arrow indicator. Now this is your lambda expression. Okay, so this is your lambda expression, but you see still there is an error. Why? Because if you go to the notes section here, what it says, functional interface provides reference to the lambda expression. So let's have a look here what it says. It says the left hand side of an assignment must be a variable, right? So what I will do, I will use lambda functional interface reference equals to this. Do you see error now? No, right? It's resolved. So what does it mean? Functional interface provides reference, right? Reference to the lambda expression. So here this particular thing is your lambda expression, and what you see here is the functional interface. So this is the reference variable to the functional interface. So functional interface provides reference to the lambda expression, right? Now if I have to call the function called learning, I can use the reference variable, and then let me run this one. Here you go. Correct? I hope I'm making some sense, right? So we have seen how to write a lambda expression, how to create an anonymous function. We have seen how to provide implementation to the method of a functional interface that you can see here, right? So this is your implementation of your learn, this particular function here. Function, if you see, you can compare, right? There is no argument, there is no, let's compare with this. No argument, no argument, and here is function body, here is function body, right? You see, we have used as it is, correct? So we are using lambda expression to provide implementation to this, to the abstract method of a functional interface. All right, now let's go back. Now let's have a look at the syntax, because there are different developers in the market and everyone has a different style of coding. So let's have a look at the different syntax of lambda expression. So the way you have a function, right? There could be a function without any arguments. Similarly, you can have a lambda expression. What does it mean? A function lambda expression without any arguments. Then this is your lambda sign and here is your function body, right? One argument, I can pass a parameter in my lambda expression. For example, I'm passing a string. I can pass and then I can do something. So this is my argument, set of arguments, lambda expression, arrow indicator, and then this is the function body, right? Now I can use this sentence here also, parameter, right? When there is a one argument, then this particular bracket is optional. When you are working with the lambda expression and there is only one argument in the function, right? Then you can remove the bracket. So the second syntax is also correct. So you need to keep in mind that when you are dealing with, when you have only one argument, you can remove the bracket. There could be a developer who follow this particular syntax. So both of the syntax which you see here are correct. There is nothing wrong with any of the syntax. Both are correct. You can also pass multiple parameters in the bracket, like p1, p2 are the two arguments. For example, I am writing a function to add two numbers, right? I can pass two arguments or two string to concatenate. So when you are working, when you are passing multiple arguments, it is must to have the bracket. So when there is no argument, this particular bracket is must. When there are multiple arguments, this particular bracket is must. But when you have only one argument, then it is optional, right? And in case if you need to pass a custom object, then you need to pass the parameter type as well. So I will explain different syntaxes in the code, we'll see right now. So let's go back to the IDE. So I think we have seen this one, right? No argument. When there is zero parameters, this is what we have seen, right? Zero parameters means this is your function body, then arrow sign, this arrow, and here is your implementation. I can also make this into one row like this. Okay, so it's matching with this one, right? Your function body, this guy, your parameter list, then arrow sign, and then function body. Here it is. Now if I run this one, I'll get the same result. There is nothing wrong. So this is how you write your lambda expression, right? This entire thing is your lambda expression and here is your functional interface. Okay, now let's go and talk about when we have multiple arguments. So what I will do is I'll create another class, and this time lambda expression example, I call it as example. I just want you guys to be familiar with the different syntaxes so that you don't commit any mistake or you don't confuse yourself. Interface, I have an interface called lambda interface. There's nothing like lambda interface, but I'm giving it a name, lambda interface. And here you see I have, what do I have? Public, sorry, int. I want to add two numbers. I want to pass integer a and integer b, and I want to get the sum, right? This is my abstract function. As I told you guys, if interface, any interface having only one method, one abstract method, is known as what? Functional interface. And it is good practice to use the annotation. Okay, now let's go ahead and write. So let's do one thing. Let me just write this particular implementation. How do you write a normal function? Return a plus b. Correct. This is what this particular function is doing. I have function name taking two arguments. It's like if I take this out, if I put this one here, right? This is your regular function. You have a function, two parameters, and returning sum of these two numbers, right? So sorry, we are writing the lambda expression of this particular function. So you need to remove what is the lambda expression? A function without name, without return type, and without access modifier. So what do I have? What do I have now? I have set of parameters, then arrow indicator and function body. Correct? So this is correct, but I see there is a problem. What is the problem? What is the problem? Let's have a look. It says the left hand side of an assignment must be a variable. So it is looking for a reference variable. So as a functional interface provides reference to the lambda expression, right? Now if I have to use my function, right, add two numbers, I can pass 5 and 10. Simple, right? I will write this code in sysout so that I can see the result. Let me run this one. What do you see here? Sum of these two numbers. So let me just revise. Lambda expression, it provides implementation to the abstract function of a functional interface, right? And lambda and functional interface, it provides reference to the lambda expression. I hope you know, right? Reference is a very simple thing, right? My interface name, so this is the reference variable, and then I can use reference variable to call the function, right? Now I can, let me go and see here. So if you see here, I have arguments parameter 1, parameter 2, but there is no return, there is no argument type. I did not mention the parameter types here, right? You cannot say whether it's a string or integer, right? Let me just do here also. Let me take out integer. Let me take out this guys. Even this is now also it's a valid lambda expression. What do I have? Set of parameters, arrow indicator, and the function body. Let me run this one. So the result is still same 15. Now the question is how your lambda expression knows that what is the type of these two variables. So lambda expression knows that we are providing implementation of the function of the functional interface of the method of the functional interface. So it interpret the values from the abstract method. By looking at these types, it knows, okay, that these two numbers are integer values. All right. Now let's have a look at the what is next one. I think we have covered the syntax, right? We have seen one argument. Sorry, not we haven't seen the one argument, but that's okay. Okay, let me do one thing. Now what I will do, let me comment this portion, and I will write here a new function called integer get length of string. I want to pass a string type argument this time, right? So let me comment out this one. I'm leaving this one for your reference so that you can have a look at later. Right now I need to provide the implementation of this particular function. So how do we write the code? Let me copy. I'll bring this down here. How do you calculate the length of a string? Return, you use str dot length, right? It's very simple, correct? Now let me copy this one. Now I'm going to write the lambda expression of this particular function. Let me comment this one because I don't need this one now. I'm going to convert this into a lambda expression. How do we convert? Lambda expression is an anonymous function. Anonymous means without function name, without return type, and without access modifier, right? And then as per the syntax, we need to add the arrow sign. So this is your lambda expression, but you need to always make sure that you add the semicolon in the end. Now I hope you understood what is this particular error says, that you need to have a reference variable. So as I told you earlier, functional interface provides reference to the lambda expression. So your error is resolved. It's not there. If I have to call, I can use the function called getLength, and I can pass a string here is like okay Java. So this guy will give me the length len equals to like this, and I can write sysout here. I can use length equals to plus len. Simple, right? Let me run this one and then let's see the result. Here you go. Correct. So this time we have seen a function with one parameter. Lambda expression just having one argument, right? So as I told you earlier, even this is optional. You don't have to pass lambda expression. By looking at the function, it will come to know the argument type. So you can take out the type of the parameter. And now if I run this one, still it's a valid. See, right? Now let's go back. So here we have covered. Now we know what is the lambda expression. We know how can you convert your regular function into a lambda expression, right? By removing function name, function type, and access modifier. Okay, now we are very much familiar with the syntax. There could be a zero parameters lambda expression, there could be a single parameter, or there could be multiple parameters lambda. Now let's talk about the lambda expression body. Bodies, I hope you have seen, right? This particular bracket where we write the method implementation, right? So this is my, here is my parameter. As I told you, when you have only single argument, the bracket is optional. That is why I do not have the bracket here. Then this arrow sign, and then you have your lambda expression. So I can write the same this way as well. There is nothing wrong. Now, as you guys know that when you have single argument, you can remove the bracket. Similarly, if your implementation is just of one line, you can remove the bracket as well, like this. So I have parameter System.out.println, one parameter lambda expression. So when your implementation is just of one line, you can remove the curly braces as well. So what I will do, let me create one more example so that I can explain the body. What it says, like, let's have one more have a look at here also. When you have single parameter, when you have implementation is just one row, you can omit, you can remove the curly braces. But when you have your implementation in multiple rows, then it is must to have, similar to the multiple parameters. You guys remember, if I'm passing, if I, my expression, if I have multiple parameters, then it is must to have the bracket, right? Same way, if you have your implementation in your method body having multiple lines of code, then you need to use the curly braces. It is must to have, right? So let me give you an example. So what I will do is that, let me go to the IDE, and here I will create another example. Let me just go and create one more class, lambda expression body. Simple, right? So what I will do, again, I will create an interface here, interface, let me call this lambda expression interface 01. Simple. Correct. Now, for example, I have, what do I have? Let me create a string public void. I'm just creating a function lambda expression print, but this time I want to pass arguments as well. Like I want to concatenate string 1 and then string s2. Correct. Simple. So I have one functional interface, correct, having one abstract method print, and it has got two arguments. So what, let me do one thing. Let me, okay, let's use print only. So what I will do, let me provide the implementation. So how do you write your code? I just want to print this one, right? So system.out, I just want to print the input string, right? So what, how do you write? S1 equals to, you write S1, then plus, and you use okay, S2 equals to S2 thing. So now I will convert this into a lambda expression. How can I do that? First of all, let me add the semicolon here. Remove function name, remove return type, and then remove using the arrow. Correct? Now I hope you know this particular error message how to resolve. You need the interface functional interface reference variable. It's resolved, right? Now if I have to call, I can use the reference variable dot print, and I can pass two values like YouTube, and here I will pass okay Java, right? Let me comment this one out. This particular method is not for us. I just put this one for your reference, right? So we have used this one. We have the lambda expression here, and here is my reference variable, right? Now if I run this one, what will happen? You see the values. Now let's go back to the slide. Let's see function body, what it says. When your implementation is just in one row, right? Like you write your implementation is just in one row, then this particular bracket is optional. Let me go here, right? Can I convert this into one row, single row? Let me try. Let me make it big for you guys. And okay, sorry, right here. So basically, what do I have? I have my lambda expression. I have two arguments, and here is my function body. Here is my implementation. But again, because my implementation is just one liner, what is the rule says that it is an optional to have the curly braces. You see here, even whatever you see, all three syntax are correct. There is nothing wrong, but there are different styles of writing the lambda expression, right? So even if I run this one, it's gonna work perfectly fine. There is no problem at all, right? You see here, this is correct. But again, you have to be familiar with all the syntaxes or the different styles. So because my implementation was my function body was just of one line, I removed the curly braces. Now let me run this one. You see the result is still same, correct? Let's go back here. What it says, when you have multiple line of your implementation, right, then it is must to have, similar to the way, like if I have multiple parameters, I need to have this bracket, right? It is must to have. Same way, if your function body has multiple lines of code, then you need to have the curly braces, right? For example, if I split, let me write this way. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm writing my code. I'm printing the strings one by one. First I will print string 1, and then now I am printing string 2. Simple, right? Now I have two lines of code, right? So it is must to have the curly braces. Now let me run. The result is going to be same. You see here, it is still same, right? So here we are talking about the different styles of writing lambda expressions. We have already covered how to pass multiple parameters, right? Here we are talking about the curly braces. All right. Now let's move further. So this is again one of the important thing to talk about, lambda expression return type or return value. For example, you have, what is this? There's one argument. Because it is one, so it is optional to have the bracket. This is the right syntax. Then the arrow sign, and then I have return a dot to lowercase. So I'm passing one value, one parameter, and I'm printing the lowercase version, right? So here in this case, this return, when you have only one statement, right? This return is optional. Even both of these syntax are correct. When you have single argument, right? Single line of code, then this return is optional. How? Let me go back. Create one more class. So lambda integer example. Here I have interface called add interface. Add interface, right? And here we are talking about the return type. Okay. So what I will do is, let me create a one integer, and here I want, can you please square the number, square it, and I will pass integer x here. So this is my functional interface. Why? Because there is only one abstract method, correct? I will create a main method here. Now let me write the implementation of this particular function. So what I'm going to do here, can you please return the square? Square means multiply the same number with itself, right? Correct, right? So this is your regular way. Now let's convert this into a lambda expression. How do you do that? You remove the function name, you remove the return type, you remove the access modifier, and you add the arrow sign. It becomes your lambda expression. Now let's see what is the error. It says that left hand side assignment. Let me put a semicolon here. So now I hope you guys are expert, right? How to resolve this particular error. It's good to go. Now let's go. Let me just call this one once. Sorry, reference. Let me just let me pass 5 here, and I will write this into a sysout. Correct. Let me run this one. Let me see the result, how it looks like. So we have passed 5 and the result is 25, right? So our code is working perfectly fine. Now let's have a look what it says. When your implementation, right, it is just of one row, this return statement, return keyword is optional. If you want, you can use return. If you don't want, you can ignore. So what I will do, here is return, right? So let me first make it in one row, and this is how it is. If you want to use the return keyword, right, then you need to use the curly braces. It is compulsory, it is mandatory to have. But what I'm going to do is, I want to take this out, return. correct? And I will take this bracket as well, and this is how it is. So here is my lambda expression. What I'm doing here is I'm multiplying the argument, the input value. Now let me run this one. You see the result is same. So what I'm trying to say is when you have one liner, there is one liner statement you have, then you can remove the return as well. Correct? What is next? So even for example, you have two parameters A and B and you are returning the multiplication, right? Then in that case, you can remove. So as I told you earlier just now that if you want to use the return, then you need to use the curly braces. If you want to remove the return, you need to remove the curly braces as well. It is optional, right? So the multiplication of these two numbers is so simple. You pass two arguments, then arrow indicator and then A into B. So this is how you write lambda expression, and it helps you in writing a very concise, a smaller code, right? Very small. Now again, if you see here, if you have multiple statements, right, then also you can use your return keyword to return some value from your lambda expression. For example, let me write multiple. So how can I write multiple statements? I have to use the curly braces because I'm going to introduce something, and I will write return here, return x into x, but I want to print. So I will write square of x square of plus this guy. Okay, let me run this one like this as well. This is the another way of writing lambda expression and having a return keyword. Correct? So far we have seen the parameters, arguments to the lambda expression. We have covered the lambda expression body, curly braces, and we have seen the return as well. All right. So the optional here, optional type declaration. For example, if you have if you have arguments, right? So it is optional to define the type of the arguments. You can live without the type, right? So for example, I have int here, right? I can take this out. Integer. There is no need to mention the type because my lambda expression will come to know from this particular function that the value is integer type, right? So it is an optional to define the type of the parameters. The parenthesis around the parameter is optional. This one, even this one is optional. I can take this out because I have one argument, so it is an optional. But if you have multiple arguments, you need to pass. Remember, it is an optional when you have only single argument. What is optional? Curly braces is optional when you have one liner of the code, when your implementation is just a one line. For example, if I convert this into like this, right, then in that case this curly braces is also optional. I can take this out, but as I told you, you cannot use the return. If you want to use the return keyword, it should be with the curly braces. Correct? So no need to use curly braces in the expression if the body contains a single statement. If there is only one single one liner implementation of your method, you can remove the curly braces as well, right? What as optional return keyword? You see here, I'm not using the return keyword. It is an optional. If you want, you can write. If you want, you can remove. So the compiler automatically returns the value if the body has a single expression to return the value. Curly braces are required to indicate that expression returns the value, right? So if you want to so compiler will automatically come to know, okay, this is one liner, so it will return whatever is there. But for example, if you want to explicitly mention the return keyword, you need to use the curly braces, remember. Okay, so this is what it says: curly braces are required to indicate that expression returns a value. It is must have. If you want to mention the keyword return, you need to write your expression within the curly braces. All right. So here we have covered the very important topic today, but it's not yet done because we need to talk about the variable scope in lambda expression, but this video is already too long. So I cannot cover all these lambda expression variable scope in this video. I will make another video and there will talk about the final and effectively final variable types in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.